Hello, today we are going to talk about meetings as forums for problem solving. Before we jump in, let's first review a few key terms. First off, what is a meeting? A meeting is a process between two or more people that has the function of identifying and achieving goals, sharing information, making decisions, and/or solving problems. A meeting can be regularly scheduled or planned for a specific purpose. Today we're going to talk about meetings specifically related to problem solving. Problem solving is the process of defining a problem and identifying possible solutions. Problem solving meetings, also known as task forces, troubleshooting teams, or strategic communication committees, are capable of affecting an organization's performance because of the basic function of identifying problems and developing solutions that propel the organization forward through effective communication. This communication is accomplished with the use of goals. Having a clear goal is one of the four major parts of strategic communication. Goal setting is equally as important in group communication in meetings, and you will find goals on several different levels. Organizational goals are goals that are set up by the upper levels of an organization's hierarchy and include the organization's ideas to achieving excellence in that organization. Organizational goals affect problem-solving meetings due to the focus of the meeting being problems that may prevent attainment of these goals. Group goals, not unlike organizational goals, serve the mission and purpose of the group itself. These goals can come as a specific charge from higher in the organization or can develop from the nature of the group's task. Group goals also consist of process goals, which are goals to improve a function of the group itself. Individual goals are goals or needs that the individual group members have in addition to the group's goals. These can be very specific personal goals, such as the need for recognition, and are not always known to the rest of the group. They do, however, affect the group because a group member who does not have his or her individual goals met will probably be less happy in the work group and have low effectiveness in problem solving. The next thing that can affect problem solving within a group is preparing for your meeting. As a participant of the meeting, you should be aware of the space that the meeting will be held at and know the participants that will be there. If your group follows a set of rules during the meeting, make sure all participants are aware. If possible, learn what topics will be discussed beforehand. An important tool that groups use for setting goals in problem-solving meetings is the agenda. An agenda is basically a map of your meeting containing what you're going to talk about, approximately how long will be allotted to each topic, and what order the topics will be in. Most agendas contain the same basic information, such as roll call, new business, unfinished business from previous meetings, and closing, but they can be structured to meet your group's specific purpose. In problem-solving meetings, addressing your specific issue or issues will take up the majority of the time, so following the guidelines of your agenda will allow your group to maintain focus without missing items or wasting time. Problem-solving meetings can occur in several different environments. In a traditional classroom setting or in an auditorium setting, the group leader or presenter faces the rest of the participants. In a business context, traditionally meetings are held around a conference room table with the group leader at the head of the table. Nonverbal communication is important in a group context because it plays a role in how a group members participate in the decision-making process. Proxemics, or seating position, is a key component of the group problem-solving meeting. Generally, the leader would sit at the head of the table. Anything central in the meeting, like sitting at the table if there is more than one row of seating around the table, is generally seen as a position of influence or dominance, so this is where the majority of the people sit if they feel that they are important. Territoriality can come into play if one person usually sits in a specific spot. They see it as their spot and could be aggressive towards someone who chooses to sit in it. Decision-making can also be affected by chronemics, as some participants may choose to change their decision to make the meeting move along faster. Critical thinking skills are the skills that give you the ability to take any issue or subject under discussion, pick it apart, analyze it, and think critically about it. These skills are important to problem solving in a group and move the group towards its goal. The first step in critical thinking is analysis. This is examining all of the pieces of an issue to see how they fit into the whole. The second step is reasoning. Reasoning is the ability to view various information and data and throw it together into sound conclusions. Reasoning can be deductive or inductive and can be applied depending on the situation. The third step is interpretation. Interpretation is using your own knowledge and experience to create valid conclusions. This step is important in the group setting as you are working together to create a shared meaning, which is a desired outcome of any communication. The last step in critical thinking is the evaluation step. Evaluation is making judgment about the information or data, usually in opposite categories such as good or bad. We improve communication and solve problems by using critical thinking skills. We problem solve by defining the problem and then generating possible solutions to the outcome. Ideal problem solving would contain a variety of ideas and perspectives, which allows not only for discussion of multiple ideas, but guards against a tendency towards cohesiveness or the possibility of groupthink. Problem-solving ideas should be relatively simple and checked against other ideas. Finally, problem-solving will generate ideas that have different levels of usefulness, so a group should be sure to examine the best ideas for the group. There are three major types of problem-solving techniques. Each are more applicable in certain situations. Reflective thinking is known for its efficiency and clear roadmap to arriving at a decision. The nominal group technique is also a relatively structured for problem solving, which is especially useful in newly formed groups. And lastly, the Delphi technique is used in a setting of anonymity to collect subjective judgments by a series of surveys that get more and more focused each round. After the problem-solving sessions come to an end, it is time to make a decision. Decision-making can be done in one of two ways. The suggested way is to arrive at a complete consensus or a unanimous decision between all participants, because every participant will leave the problem-solving meeting knowing their idea was picked and be committed to the decision. The other option is voting, or using the majority rule as the decision-making. This should not be used unless under time constraints or to narrow down ideas, as it leads to isolation of group members and less commitment to the overall idea. In summary, today we talked about problem-solving groups and meetings and many of the different factors that can alter the outcome of these meetings. Thank you for the time you took to join me today. For further information, check out these additional references.